Welcome back to Cat Tales. I have a story to share with you that is another historic fiction. Now remember, that means that there is some basis to the story, and some parts may be true, but other parts may be made up. About 100 years ago, it was very difficult to place children in homes. So someone came up with the idea of placing children out to homes in the Midwest. So the children would actually go on a train, travel across the country, and be placed with people who wanted children in their house. There are still people alive today who went out on these orphan trains because they did operate into the 1930s here in our country. So the name of this story is The Train to Somewhere by Eve Bunting. "This is our train," said Miss Randolph, and Nora clutches at my hand. A conductor comes along the platform. "Are these the orphans, ma'am?" "Yes, 14 of them." "We put a special coach on the back," the conductor says. Miss Randolph brings an emergency bag. I watched her pack it. It had washcloths, medicine, and larkspur. None of us in St. Christopher's were going to stay. We were going to be placed out along the way. "Going for placing out, are you?" said the conductor. "You look nice." "Thank you," said Nora. She was only 5. "Good luck," he said to me. "I heard there's a lot of people on the way that would like to have children." "Yes, indeed," said Miss Randolph. "We're not seeing as many this year," said the conductor. 1877 was a big year to place the children. The train seats are hard. I let Nora sit by the window. We can see ourselves reflected in the dirty glass. She's wearing her new blue coat with the shiny buckles. Her hair is in bright ringlets under her bonnet. I can see my own hair in the window. It's brown and plain. I am not pretty. I know Nora will be one of the first taken. "Mary Ann, should we tell them that we are sisters? We don't look a bit alike. But I couldn't bear for them to split us up." "Shh," I whisper. But Miss Randolph had heard us. "What is this?" she said. "Girls, you mustn't do that. Some people can only take one child, not 2. Please don't spoil it for each other." "It's all right," I told myself, and I put my hand in my pocket, and I could feel the feather in there. "It's all right," I thought. "She's going to be there. She's going to want me." The train was moving, and we were gliding fast and smooth past the freight yards, past tenements, past the buildings where we'd lived, warehouses. We were going out into the country where apples grew. I had had apples, but I had never seen an apple tree. Miss Randolph had me and one of the other girls hang up a blanket to separate us from the boys and the girls. "We don't want you to have your good clothes on to get messy." So we changed into our old clothes, and we ate sandwiches that she had made. At Chicago, we carried everything, and we changed trains and got out. Days and nights passed since we had left New York. There was nothing to see but grass everywhere rolling along in the distance. "These are the Great Plains," said Miss Randolph. Not long after, we heard a voice saying, "Porterville, Illinois." That was our first stop. Our last stop was going to be the town of Somewhere. A crowd was waiting. "Blimey," said Zachary Cummings. "I've never seen so many people." He was the first one off the train. There was a gentleman with a big box camera ready to take pictures. There were horses and wagons. I looked around to see if my mother was there, but I did not see her. She probably went further west, I thought. I know she will be here somewhere. A man took us to the city hall. We were like a parade. Smile, said Miss Randolph. We sit on chairs up on a stage, and people walk by looking us over. Some of the men felt the muscles on the boys, and they say things like, "This'll be a good one. He'll come in handy come harvest time." Zachary is taken away, as are 2 other boys. "Cheerio, mates," he called. Mavis Perkins is chosen also by a scrawny woman. "Dorothea," said the woman, "look at this one. She's going to be a big help around the house." Miss Randolph went over to her and said, "Mavis is a good girl. Be kind to her, and someone will come around to make sure that she's well cared for." "What are you thinking, missus? You thinking I ain't going to treat this girl right?" No, that isn't what I meant." Miss Randolph doesn't say anything. She hands off the papers to the woman, who walks away. A man and a woman stop in front of us. My knees are trembling. "Oh, Herbert, look at this sweet little girl," she says about Nora. Nora grabs my hand and said, "Oh, but this is my sister. Please take her too." "Oh dear," said the woman. "I'm sorry, but we only have room for one little girl." Miss Randolph walked over and said, "No, they are not sisters." Nora's still crying as they take her away. I am sniffling too. It's better if I'm not taken. You see, I have to wait for my mother. She told me that she'd come back for me. She kneeled down in front of the steps of the orphanage the day that she left me. She had been working in a chicken factory, and there was a feather caught in her hair. I lifted it off and I held it against my cheek. "But when, Mama? When will you come back and get me, Mama? When?" My mother said, she said that she would be back by Christmas. But that was several Christmases ago, and my mother still hadn't come back for me. She told me that she was going out west to find a better job, and as soon as she had it, she would send for me. But I waited, and my mama did not come. There were 9 of us left getting back on the train. Miss Randolph says that we were going to keep on our good clothes because the next stop was very close. I expect when we got there that we would be walked around again. Eddie Hayes was only 7, and he was taken right away. He could stand on his hands, and people liked the trick. As soon as we got there, we got more wood and more fresh water, and we got back on board when we were done. Miss Randolph wiped her eyes and said, "Well, it's better being taken. You'll all do fine." "But we were fine in the orphanage," said Susan. "Yes," said Miss Randolph, "but we couldn't keep you all there. There were more children coming in all day." The next station was Glover. The crowd was smaller. My mother wasn't there either. But where was she? The story about the orphan train had been in all of the papers. Surely my mother would know that I was on the train. Wouldn't she have been looking for me? There were even posters hanging. I'm sure that my mother would come and take me off the train. Everything was listed. She would know where I was. "Wait, Mama. Please, Mama. I'm coming. Please, Mama. Please come and get me." But where is she? She wasn't there. I didn't see her. At Glover, they made us line up along the railroad track. Susan was pouting and whining, and her new boots hurt her. But when someone walked by her, she held up her hands and went, "Mama, Papa." The woman clutched her heart and said, "Oh, James, she's calling us." And they scooped up Susan and took her away. "Can I have a puppy?" she said. "Of course you can," said the man. "There's not much left to pick from," said a woman. "Next time we'll go back to another stop." I had a terrible hurt inside of me. I don't think my mama wanted me. It looked like no one wanted me. It's not that I wanted to be placed out. I didn't, because my mother could be at the very next stop. But what if she isn't? The three of us that are left got back on the train with Miss Randolph. She gave us ginger snaps and milk from the can that she got in Glover. The milk was sweet. Now we mustn't be down in the dumps, she said. We'll sing a song. Nobody wanted to sing. She sang along. We're such a long way from Nora. I wondered if she got a puppy and what its name was. Maybe if I could find her again, I could go and visit her. I could tell people that she was like my sister. Memorial, the conductor says. There were 4 people waiting, but none of them was my mother. I stumble out with another girl, and then another one, Amy and Dorothy. We sneak glances at each other, and we wonder which one of us will be taken. I swallow, and I feel kind of sick. One couple takes both Amy and Dorothy. 2 of us for the price of 1, the man joked. Mary Ann's very good with children, Miss Randolph tells them. Well, Mrs., we do need 2 children, but I'm sorry, we still got a little one at home. We can't take another. But here's an apple for you. Thank you, I said. But my eyes were blurry with tears. The train whistle is blowing. Miss Randolph and I get on. There's only 1 stop left now. 1 stop. Miss Randolph said I could eat my apple. She says that she has a washcloth if my hands get sticky. I said, I don't want to eat anything just yet. We look out the window and we're not talking and we're not singing. She has me take off my hat and she brushes my hair. There's a nice hotel at the last stop, she said. We can spend the night there. I'll be glad to have the company. Somewhere, said the conductor. Somewhere. That's such a strange name, as if it thinks it's important. I put my hat on. My hands are shaky. Outside on the platform, there's a woman waiting for us. She's small and round as a dumpling and wearing a heavy black dress. She's not my mother, I thought. Are you ready, Mary Ann? Said Miss Randolph. No, I said. Miss Randolph holds my hand and we get down off the train. The man with her is tall and stooped, and he takes off his hat politely. The woman doesn't take hers off. They're very old, I thought. She's holding a wooden toy locomotive. Are you, Miss Randolph says, yes. This is Mary Ann. Is she all? But the woman stops herself before she says, is she all that's left? She doesn't. She just looks at me closely, and I look at her face. And in her face, I saw a softness. I saw the look that maybe my mother would have. I'm Tilly Brooks, she said to Miss Randolph. This is my husband, Roscoe. She holds out the toy locomotive and she says, here, I brung this for you. I guess I'm not what you wanted, I said to her. I guess you wanted a boy. Well, I won't lie to you. We did want a boy, she said, but we like girls just fine. And then she squints and looks at me and she said, and I'm thinking that we're not exactly what you were looking for either. No siree. But I want you to take a look at Roscoe here. Now, I thought when I was a young girl that I was going to get me the finest, handsomest beau in the county. But no, sir. What I ended up was the ugliest man there ever was. But I got to tell you, I don't care if he's handsome. He's the best man that I could ever hope to find. best man in this world. You see, sometimes what you get is better than what you wanted in the first place. Yes, sirree. And then all of a sudden, that crumbling and rumbling inside of my stomach went away. My mother's not in somewhere. She's not here. She's not anywhere. But I looked in this woman, and I saw the look that I would want my mother to have if I found her. And so I put my hand in my pocket, and I took it out, and I handed it to her, and I said, "Here, I brought this feather for you." "Why, thank you," she said, and she stuck it in her hat. Miss Randolph looked down at me and she said, "Are you ready?" "I am." And I walked away with Mr. and Mrs. Book. Thank you. And that is The Train to Somewhere. Thank you for listening.